Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, President Trump just imposed tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. What exactly is a tariff and how will this impact me financially? Okay, so as of this recording, President Trump has imposed a 25% tariff on Canada, a 25% tariff on Mexico, and raised the already existing 10% tariff on China, an additional 10%, which is ultimately 20%. So what is a tariff? A tariff essentially is a tax on imported goods from particular countries. So it is not a tax on the country. The country does not pay a tariff. The importer of goods from that country pays the tariff. So if Walmart is importing goods from China or Mexico, Walmart pays the tariff. They pay the tax. They pay that additional 25%. They're not going to eat that cost. They're going to pass it on to the consumer, which means that the price of certain things is going to go up. So what are these certain things? In the biggest things are clothing, food, big ticket items like electronics, refrigerators, things like that, air conditioners, and automobiles, cars, right? And so you're going to see a huge jump. And you might say, well, I can hold off on buying cars. Maybe I can hold off on buying electronics. But food and clothing are essentials, which means that everyone is going to have to find a way to, get a little extra money to buy food just to survive. So the cost of your monthly expenses is going to increase. What's the impact of that? So we're already seeing retaliatory tariffs from Canada and China, which means that things that the U.S. sold to those countries, corn, soybeans, cars, industrial equipment, those things are going to be impacted because there's going to be a tariff from those countries on their people who import our goods that we sell, which means that there'll be a reduction in sales for those companies, which means those companies will be impacted, which means those companies may have to have layoffs and could affect them to a point of bankruptcy. How else is it going to affect you? So even by this weekend, we see stores like Target and Walmart and some other stores already saying that by the weekend, they'll have to raise the prices on their food because tomatoes, avocados, a whole bunch of other, produce, especially, we get from Mexico. Auto manufacturers, there are dozens of parts. And people don't understand this global supply chain. Even if a car is manufactured here, we might send a part to Canada. Canada has, deals with a lot of different parts, and they have to send it back. And there'll be 2, 3, 4, 5 different parts that go into a car. There are thousands of parts that go into a car, and there may be a bunch of them that come from Canada. So there'll be tariffs on each of those parts, which is going to significantly raise the cost of an automobile. So the impact we're going to see we're going to see immediate inflation in certain areas, and in the longer term, we're already in an inflationary period. We'll see inflation tick up even more, which means your cost of living will go down. We will probably, as a result of that, see job losses because if people can buy less, then stores have to downsize, manufacturers have to downsize, so we'll probably see job losses. We'll see businesses close, right? So we got to think, even if we just look at a shopping mall, if people stop going to the shopping mall, obviously the stores, the retail outlets are going to, lose business, so they'll have to downsize. But all the peripheral businesses that supported that, all the fast food industry that was there, all the other things that were there, they're going to be impacted too as less people go. So you're going to see this ripple effect throughout the economy based on that. So you'll see immediate impact and then peripheral, which will obviously lead to job losses, higher inflation. That is a perfect recipe for a recession, which means we could possibly go into a recession. It will keep interest rates high until we go into a recession, which means, buying will be, big ticket items like houses, You won't see housing, people buying more houses, especially if the cost of building houses, because a lot of building materials come from China. So people who normally do home repair in the spring, you'll see contractors now losing business because they can't afford to do the home repairs or home improvement. You won't see new building construction because the cost of goods, again, is too high. It's going to really be devastating to the economy. You're going to see an economic slowdown. You'll be supply chain issues, right? Because a lot of goods won't be coming in as fast and easy as they were before. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. I really don't understand the bigger picture. I hear where it's being stated, but it doesn't really make sense to me to have this trade war with our biggest trade partners. But it is what it is. I don't know how long the tariffs will be in place this time. I don't know if there's going to actually be a trade war where they put greater tariffs and we put greater tariffs and greater tariffs to greater until everybody, right, all the regular people are hurt by it. So definitely going to feel the pain. Again, stock market's going to be volatile. We already see that. So your 401k is going to be impacted. Your retirement account will be impacted. The bond market's already suffering. So we're going to see some major shakeups financially. And like I said, hopefully you can keep your job. Hopefully you can afford to live, to buy groceries and some other things. But it's going to be pretty bad. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the tariffs. Please like, share, subscribe. Keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.